This is Andrew.
And I'm Michael, and this is our Lost recap video. Me and my brother Andrew are huge fans of Lost, but we never really get a chance to express our opinions or theories on the show. So we decided to film these videos on every week and to discuss some of the major points of the show.
Well, these videos are going to be about 5 to 10 minutes long, which means we'll only be able to talk about one major topic per video. But if you'd like us to talk about any particular subject, then you can send in your ideas and your theories, and we'll try and construct a video around that particular topic.
So we decided to do these videos as kind of a run-up and countdown to Season 5, so that when Season 5 airs in January, we'll concentrate more on doing individual episode reviews of that season as it happens. So we're all looking forward to that. Anyways, let's get on to our topic this week, which is...
Well, our topic this week is the Season 5 trailer, which was released last month, for those of you who still haven't seen it. And there was a lot of interesting clips in the trailer, more notably John Locke on the floor with a gun being held to him.
Yes, he was. I've heard other people's theories about this, and they think it could be Richard who has the gun over him. Personally, I don't think it's Richard, but I'm not really sure who it is. So it could be one of the left behinds on the beach, maybe catching up with Locke's group and holding him at gunpoint, but it seems to be somebody who's definitely capable of actually shooting him, as we do see a very scared look on his face. Maybe it's just the monster holding the gun. We know who's scared of that in Season 1, so... there was also another interesting clip with Locke.
Well, yeah, there seemed to be a clip of Locke on the ground, and he had a bloodied hand, and he was holding a compass. Now, we know a compass has come up once before in Locke's life, when Richard Albert visited him as a child. The compass was one of the items that Richard presented to Locke and asked him to pick. We don't know yet whether the compass was the right item Locke was supposed to pick or the wrong one, but it seems that it's going to come up in Season 5, especially now that Locke is spending a lot of time with Richard.
Yeah.
There is also some interesting stock footage in the trailer of the Beechcraft falling off the cliff, and this was last seen in Season 1, but it's not entirely clear whether this is the original footage or if this is new footage. I mean, the writers have hinted before that the island could be in the past, so the survivors could be reliving these events. It would be very interesting for Locke's character to revisit the Beechcraft scene, because Boone died there and it was a very important impact on Locke's futureness on the island, so it'd be interesting for Locke's character to go back there.
Yep, and also we see a couple of shots of what looks to be the Swan Hatch, or what we thought was a Swan Hatch, where we see Juliet looking like she's discovering it again, the top door that the survivors first discovered and Locke obsessed about over most of the first season. So, but that was all that was to do with that one. The more interesting part of the Swan Hatch was to do with Daniel Faraday actually coming across the front doors to the hatch, and we see him approaching him, but as he does, somebody bursts out with a gun held to him, and more notably, this man has a Dharma Initiative hazmat suit on, with rips in the knees, we notice as well. So this could be similar to the suit we see Kelvin Inman wearing when he goes off to repair Desmond's boat. Although personally we think it's maybe not Kelvin, as the build of the character who burst out with the gun doesn't seem quite right for Kelvin. But it could be Rosinski. We haven't seen anything of Rosinski yet, which would also support the theory behind it has moved back in time, as we now know Rosinski's dead. So it could even be Desmond as a big shocker. Obviously not as two people, or maybe it's a time skip. I mean, anything's possible on Lost, but I would think that one would be a big shocker. So
well, there's also another interesting scene of Daniel Faraday where he's in an underground tunnel with a helmet on. Now, we don't know whether this is a flashback or an on-island clip, but one notable underground tunnel on the island seems to be the tunnel leading from Ben's secret room to the black smoke monster.
Well, what we assume, yeah. Well, I mean, could be anywhere, but yeah, it'd be pretty awesome to see more of that. Yeah.
Definitely in Season 5, and it would be very interesting to see how the black smoke monster was controlled. But realistically, we think it might be a flashback, just because of Daniel Faraday's clothes. We don't know whether he has a change of clothes, and it just seems that
unlikely that he does.
The writers have already promised us that we're going to get a Daniel Faraday flashback, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Will Daniel Faraday even remember his flashbacks with all his memory problems?
The next scene in the trailer was There's an image of Charlotte actually. This is on island. We see her with Daniel, and as she turns to face him, she has a nosebleed, which is obviously associated with the same problem Desmond and George Minkowski had, which was the time skip. We don't know if she's going through this personally. I think she could be, but is this into the future? Can you time skip into the future? Is it just into the past like Desmond and George Minkowski? And what actually brought it on? Because Desmond and Minkowski both had events happen that brought on the time skip. Desmond travelling in the chopper to the freighter. We had Minkowski trying to get to the island. So how does Charlotte activate if it is that? Personally, I think we were just hoping for a bit of a catfight with Juliet and Charlotte. You know, it'll be a simple explanation, something fun in the episode. So, the next scene?
Well, on to the Oceanic Six, and there's an interesting scene with Sun, isn't there?
Oh yes, this was one of my favourites, and when I seen it I was a bit shocked. We see her getting locked in what looks to be a police interview room. She's very frantic, trying to get out the door. It's been locked behind her, and we see out the little pane window there someone who looks very, very similar to the mysterious Matthew Abaddon, which is who we personally think it is, isn't it?
Okay.
Hopefully, yes. We also have a little theory about maybe Locke and Abaddon joining forces as Locke leaves the island at some point and gets his alias as Jeremy Bentham. They maybe meet up again, and maybe he's trying to go and talk to all the Oceanic Six, which would also explain why Sun is trapped in a room and Matthew Abaddon is outside guarding it. So, because Sun does have a really shocked look on her face when she turns around, doesn't she? So it's got to be somebody shocking, either a husband or Locke. Or I'd be shocked if Locke or Jin turned up in my living room anyways.
There's a lot of scattered images as well, just a lot of random images to do with the Oceanic Six.
Yeah, there's we see Dharma Initiative flash up a few times. We also see a few more of them. We see Hurley and Saeed, who look like they've just left Santa Rosa, as Hurley still has his bathrobe on, and we see him leaning over a balcony with a gun in his hand. So looks like Hurley's all full on action for this season.
There's also an image of Jack, clean shaven and with a beard, without a beard, with Ben, and it's going to be interesting to see how that alliance forms, wherever they're going to be spending a lot more time together in season 5.
Looks like there's a lot of the weird alliances coming up in season 5. We've got Locke and Richard, which isn't actually too weird, but then we also have Saeed and Hurley, as Andrew said, Jack and Ben, so it'll be interesting to see some new relationships as well as a lot of action in season 5. There was probably some more major points in the trailer, but we don't really have time to talk about them, so sorry if we didn't cover anything you wanted to hear. Let us know if there was, but I'm afraid that's all the time we have for this video. So
we've enjoyed making it.
Yeah, definitely. It's not very often we get to get our opinions apart from with each other, so we can't wait to hear what you guys say and think, or what topics you may want us to talk about. So don't forget to let us know, and thanks very much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week.
Okay, goodbye.